Hello, for those of you in Dr. Vaughn's English class, let me introduce myself. I'm Alan Burstein, and I teach the finance class, Business 3200, at Gordon State College, that you're going to be working with in this assignment. To carry out the assignment, we're going to use Piazza.com, which is an online conversation platform which is designed for problem solving and collaboration. We've used it a lot in my business classes, and I think it's a good way that we can work together on this particular assignment. You're going to receive an email asking you to sign up with our class at Piazza.com. You can follow the instructions on that email, and once you're signed up and on Piazza, your screen is going to look something like this. And we're going to carry out the assignment in this way. You see that on the left we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different sections that we can click on, from the introduction to the discussion to various elements of our presentation, which I've called conversation here, and finally to making arrangements about recording the presentation. And here's how you carry out a conversation in Piazza. Let's start out with the introductions, because you're going to introduce yourselves to one another when we first start out this assignment. So you'll click on introductions and you'll simply start a discussion. It says a follow-up discussion, and you can say, just introduce who you are. Okay, and when you're done, you can post the conversation, and then someone can respond to the conversation. They can say hello to you or whatever, or if they prefer, they can start a new conversation thread, and you can just carry out a conversation with each other to talk about who you are and how you might contribute to the project. The second frame is a discussion that you'll have. The students in the English class will play the role of Ben Franklin, and they'll give Ben Franklin's advice on how our finance interns might build their hospital. And the finance students can take Ben Franklin's suggestions and frame them in the context of 21st century finance. So you can carry out your conversation this way. I meant to press post there. And you can have a fairly elaborate conversation about Ben Franklin's different ideas and how the finance students respond to that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to actually put together the presentation. Now, the format of the frames for the presentation is a little bit different. What you're going to do is you're going to put together 4 different segments of the response. First, Ben Franklin is going to give suggestions on how to fund the hospital. Then the interns are going to respond to those suggestions, trying to relate them to 21st century financial tools and financial institutions. Ben Franklin is just going to then ruminate and sort of reflect on how things are different in the 21st century than they were when he funded the Pennsylvania hospital. And finally, the interns are going to tell us their plan. So these are going to be four separate responses, and what you're going to do is you're going to actually draft the response in the student's answer field. Now, the student's answer field can be edited by anyone. So someone else can go into the student's answer field and they can change an answer or they can add to an answer. So you're going to put together each segment of the presentation, that is Franklin's plan, the student's response, Franklin's response, and the student's conclusion into how they're going to fund the hospital. You're going to put those together in these four frames, and as you're doing that, if you want, you can make comments or discussions or say whatever you want to about how the presentation is proceeding down here in the follow-up discussion area. So when we're finished with this process on February 6th, we should have drafted all four segments of the presentation. Now what we'd like you to do is we'd like you to actually video record the conversation, and we're counting on at least some of you having some knowledge about how to produce video recordings and having some kind of video recording device. But if you don't, we can probably come up with one. What we anticipate is that you will do the video recording separately. The Ben Franklin recordings at Clayton State and the interns recordings at Gordon State. But if you'd like to get together and do this as one recording, Dr. Vaughn and I will try and arrange for a time and location to do that. In any case, in this area, what you're going to do is just discuss these details as to how you're actually going to put together the video presentation. And then you're done. You'll do the presentation and we'll show the presentation in class. So we're just going to use Piazza, these 6 different frames, first to introduce ourselves to one another, then to have a just general discussion about how we're going to fund the hospital. Then we'll actually draft the 4 segments of the presentation in these 4 areas, and finally you'll plan on recording the presentation. If you want more information on how to work with Piazza, you'll see down at the bottom you can click on this frame and there's a discussion of Piazza, but it's actually pretty simple, and I think that you'll be able to see how it works through this video and also just through using it. So I hope this is useful, and I hope you enjoy the project and have fun with it. I know both Dr. Vaughn and I are very interested to see what you're going to come up with. Thank you.